Good morning, children. Welcome to our online class. This is Naga Lakshmi, working as CFP of English at D V SATRAM KGBV. So, in our previous class, we had to we had to start a new unit, that is Unit 2. So, the theme of the second unit is wit and humor. So, on the part of the wit and humor, we have to discuss about the Dear Departed 1, that is a one-act play. And now, in the first act, first part, we saw the characters. So I introduced the characters of the play. That is Mrs. Slater and Mrs. Jordan or Elizabeth Jordan, Ben and Henry, Victoria, Jimmy and Mary Weather. So these are the characters of the play, The Dear Departed One. Then who is the author of the Dear Departed One? Yes, the author of the Dear Departed One is William Stanley Horton, and this is a one-act play. One-act play means drama. It all comes under one sitting, like that. So, and the first part. So, the situation. What is the situation here? That Mrs. Amelia or Amelia Slater, she had to think that her father was died. Then she sent a telegram. Her husband sent a telegram to her sister. That is, she is Amelia. Elizabeth Jordan. So when they arrived, before they arrived at the house, she has to show them all what are the important or valuable things of Abel's room. Then when the situation is going on here, when the conversation is going on here, and then Amelia Slater sent her daughter to go her father's room. Then Victoria went to her grandpa's room. Then she identified that grandpa was getting up. And after that she hurriedly came down and she told her mother that grandpa was getting up. So all were shocked. Okay, ma? Then now we have to learn. Now we learn what has happened, what will happen in the second part. That is the Dear Departed 2. Okay? All of you open your notebooks and textbooks if you have. If you have the textbooks, open it. Or if you don't have textbooks, you may watch the screen. Okay, children? Good.
The Dear Departed 2, written by William Stanley Horton. Abel, what's the matter with little Vicky? He sees Ben and Mrs. Jordan. Hello, what brings you here? How is yourself, Ben? Abel thrusts his hand at Ben, who skips back smartly and retreats with Mrs. Jordan to a safe distance below the sofa. Mrs. Slater, approaching Abel gingerly. Father, is that you? She pokes him with her hand to see if he is solid. Abel, of course, it's me. Don't do that, Amelia. What the devil do you mean by this tomfoolery? Mrs. Jordan, you took us by surprise, Father. Are you keeping quite well? Are you keeping quite well? Abel, trying to catch the words. Hey, what? Like that. So these are the conversation between the two daughters of Anne Abel. So, children, At the end of the part, we learned that Abel Merriweather saw Victoria coming down to the steps, and he asked, "What's the matter, little Vicky?" So, the end of the first part, we learned that all are think that Abel was dead. He was died, and they sent Victoria the upstairs, and here the Victoria coming down to the steps, and he asked, "What's the matter, little Vicky?" I mean, here, why are you running down? Why are you running down, little Vicky? And also he asked that, "Why are you here?" So he points out Ben and Jordan. And he asks, "How's yourself, Ben?" So why he was asking like this means, "How are you, Ben?" He asked in a very informal way. So "How's yourself, Ben?" He asked in an informal way. Abel points out his hand at Ben, who moves back smartly and moves away with Jordan to a safe distance. And Mrs. Slatters, she approaching Abel's gingerly. "Father, is that you?" She pokes him with her hand and to see if he is solid or not. I mean, here in this second paragraph, that Mrs. Slatter or Amelia, I mean, she was in doubt. So she was in a doubt, and she couldn't believe how her father was still alive. She approached her father very carefully and asked him, "Father, is that you?" And here she pokes him with her hand to see if he is solid. It means she examined or she observed her father. Why? Because she think that her father was dead. But now here her father was alive. So if he is solid or not, that's why she examined him. If he is solid in physically, he is alive. Otherwise, he is a ghost, maybe. They think like that. And she think like that. Okay, children? Now, you listen carefully. You listen carefully. Why? This is very important for right and word reading paragraph questions. So on the screen I give some meanings also based on the paragraph. You may note down it without writing any mistakes. Okay, ma? Now we come to the third paragraph. Here Abel says that, of course it's me. Don't do that, Amelia. What the devil do you mean by this tomfoolery? So here Abel says that, what's happened to you, Amelia? So it's me, your father. See, here he expressed his annoyance. He expressed his annoyance or anger on Amelia. Why? Because he was talking like that mean here. Why he was talking like that here? Mean Amelia pushed her finger with Abel's body. That's why he talking like that. Next we come to the another paragraph. Mrs. Jordan, she says, you took us by surprise, father. Are you keeping quite well? Then Mrs. Jordan expressed her doubt by saying, we are getting surprised to see you. So we are all getting surprised, father, to see you. And are you fine, father? So, are you keeping quite well here means, are you fine, father? So, is your health quite? She inquired her father. She inquired her father. Okay, ma? Next one here. Abel trying to catch the words. Hey, what? He asked. In the middle of the Jordan's words. In the middle of the Jordan words. Abel interruptedly and asked her, hey, what? What are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that? Why are you talking like that? Or what are you talking? Do you have any sense by asking this question? He thinks, total the family members think that he was dead. Who was dead? Abel Merriweather. He was dead. After they identified him, they were very shocked. Mrs. Jordan, are you quite well? Mrs. Jordan asked, are you quite well? Abel, hey, I'm right enough, but for a bit of a headache. Looking at Amelia, what the dickens did I do with my new slippers? Mrs. Slater, confused. Aren't they by the hearth, father? Abel, I don't see them. Observing Henry trying to remove the slippers. Why? You got them on, Henry. And also, says Mrs. Slater promptly, I told him to put them on the stretch. and they were that new and hard now. Henry? Mrs. Slater snatches the slippers from Henry and gives them to Abel, who puts them on and sits in the armchair. Mrs. Jordan to Ben. Well, I don't call that delicate. It is stepping into a dead man's shoes in such. Dead man's shoes in such a haste. And now we go for the explanation of this paragraph here. Here Mrs. Jordan asked, "Are you quite well?" She asked here. Then Abel replies, here why she asked Jordan inquired. Again she inquired, "Are you fine, father?" Whether asking this question here, her intention is here. What is her intention by asking this question? Means she had to clarify her doubt here. So what is her doubt? That is, her father was dead or not. She had to clarify her doubt by asking this question, "Are you quite, father?" Like that. Then Abel says here, "Hey, I'm right enough, but for a bit of a headache." Looking Amelia's, and here, but for here a little bit off, like that. By a little bit off. And hey, why are you asking like that? I'm right, but a little bit of headache. So I'm suffering from headache. That's why. That's it. And he points out to Amelia, "What the dickens did she told you about me?" He showed his anger. He showed his anger and asked his daughter. Then Mrs. Slater, she was confused. Well, her father was asking like that. And on their way, the hearth father. Here the meaning of hearth is nothing but the fireplace, the surroundings of the floor. And she was confused and said that they who may here they means Abel's new slippers in this particular paragraph, and they are at the fireplace around the floor. Here the hearth means fireplace around the floor. I already told you in the last class, that is in the first part of the this dear departed. So in cold countries like Britain, in every one's home we can find a fireplace. We can find a fireplace for heat of their bodies. And she told her father, your slippers are in the fireplace, around the floor. Maybe she expect like. Then Abel says, "I don't see them. I don't see them." So Abel says, and he is observed Henry here trying to remove his slippers, and asked, "Why you got M on, Henry?" See, again he here in what do you call, use contraction forms. That is here the contraction of IV mean here have. You have. And M, what M means? Got them. So you have got them, the meaning of the contraction here. And them means here, what is them? Here them means slippers. And he asked Henry, why are you wearing my slippers? Why are you wearing my slippers? He asked Henry. So why you are wearing my slippers? He asked like that. And again here Mrs. Slater says promptly, I told him to put them on to stretch them. They were that new and hard now, Henry. Then Mrs. Slater tries to make it up by saying that I already told him, father, to leave the slippers. Here she acts or she pretends to help her father. Why? Because she is a very vigorous, plump, vulgar woman. And she can do at anything for her at any cost for the sake of her. So, and she pretends to help her father. And she suddenly takes the slipper from Henry and gives the slippers to Abel. Abel wears the slippers and sits in the armchair. Then Mrs. Slater asks, here, Mrs. Jordan, she says that, yeah, to Ben. Well, I don't call that delicate, stepping into the dead man's shoes in such haste. Here the meaning of haste is hurry. A delicate means, normally character, like that. And she points, Mrs. Jordan or Elizabeth, she points out to the Ben and saying here, she got a chance to prove them that they are bad by nature. Who are bad by nature? Henry and Mrs. Slater. They are bad in nature in front of her father. She had to try to prove that her sister and her husband very bad people, like that. According to Mrs. Elizabeth or Mrs. Jordan, stepping into a dead man's shoes mean wearing Abel Merriweather's shoes is not normally, morally correct thing. Wearing the other people's slippers are not morally correct thing. And was not a sensible thing to do also. So wearing the other people's slippers is not morally correct and not sensible things to do. And while the conversation is going on here, Victoria goes to Mr. Abel. Victoria goes to Mr. Abel and sat on the floor at his feet. She sat on the floor at his feet. Whose feet here? Yeah, Abel's feet. What is the relationship between Abel and Vicky? So Vicky is the granddaughter of Abel Merriweather. Okay, children. Now we go for the comprehension question. Now take down the comprehension for first and second paragraphs. If you have the textbooks, you may open it and write down the answers. Or if you don't have the textbooks, just you listen. You already listen the lesson I explained in a detailed manner. Then you may write down it on your own way. So the first question is, who is the speaker of the line? Who is the speaker of the first line? Note down. And the second one is, who is little Vicky mentioned here? Who is little Vicky mentioned here? And the third question, what is meant by thrust, skip and retreat? What is meant by thrust, skip and retreat? Our fourth one is, why does she poke? Why does she poke Abel with her hand? With her hand. The last question, what are meant by gingerly and poke? Gingerly and poke. Write down it carefully. I think you all understood my lesson and my explanation also. Note down it very carefully. After we complete the write down, we go for our land. Okay, ma, have you note down it? Okay. Next we go for the another paragraph. Victoria. Oh, Grandpa, I am so glad you're not dead. Mrs. Slater, in a vindictive whisper, hold your tongue, Victoria. Abel. Hey, what's that? Who's gone dead? Mrs. Slater, loudly. Victoria says she's sorry about your head. Abel. Ah, thank you, Vicky, but I am feeling better. Abel. Why, Ben? You are in mourning? And Lizzie too. And Amelia. And Henry. And little Vicky. Who's gone dead? It's someone in the family? He chuckles. Mrs. Slater. No one, you know, father. A relation of Ben's. Abel. And what relation of Ben's? Mrs. Slater. His brother. So they are talking about, they divert the matter in another way, another side. Like here, Victoria, oh Grandpa, I am so glad. So you know, glad means happy. So I am so glad you are not dead. Here Victoria expressed her happiness or her glad to saw her grandfather alive. That's why she says, I am so happy to see or to find you alive. Then Mrs. Latter said, in a vindictive whisper, hold your tongue, Victoria. Here vindictive whisper means strong whisper. Strong whisper. She wantedly in a very low voice says that. Hold your tongue means here be careful of your words. She warned her daughter. So don't speak like that. She had and instructed her daughter. She gave the instructions. She gave the instructions to her daughter. And Abel, hey, what's that? Who's gone? Dead. So little Vicky said that you are gone dead. And Abel asked. He expressed his doubt. What's that? Who is gone dead? Like Mrs. Slatters loudly said. Victoria says that she is sorry about your head. So you are suffering from headache. That's why Victoria said that. Sorry for your head. Abel. Thank you, Vicky. But I am feeling better. No problem. You need not to worry about myself, my child. I am very happy now. I am feeling now okay, like that. He says that. And Abel, why, Ben, you are in mourning? Mourning means clothes that people wear to show that they are sad at somebody's death. And why you are in mourning? Why you were in mourning dresses? You, all of you, both Amelia, Henry and little Vicky and Elizabeth, what happened to you? What happened to you? And who's gone dead? Who's gone dead? Is in our family or some others? He asked. And so when Mrs. Slatter said, no one of you, no father. So in our relationship, no one is dead father, but a relation of Ben's. A relation of Ben's is died. Okay, ma? Then, so no one of you, father, a relation of Ben's. So, the dead person is not belongs to our family father and our relation also, but relation of Ben's. Okay, ma? And Abel says that. And what relation of Ben? Can anybody? Can anybody try to say the answers? Try to say the answers. And Abel, what relation of Ben? What relation of Ben? Then again Mrs. Slatter says that. So the dead person was his brother. Whose brother? Ben Jordan. Ben Jordan's brother. Okay, ma? And here they did a mistake. Who did a mistake? Amelia Slatter. She did a mistake And what's the mistake here? She think that her father was died, and then she sent a telegram to her sisters, and they all were in black, then mourning dresses. Now here Abel asks these all people, why you are in mourning dresses? Mourning dress, what happened to you? So here mourning, so all of you know, to show the pity of sadness, pity or sadness when somebody's like. And he asked also, who has gone dead? Who has gone dead? Is our family or our relations? Asked Abel. Then Mrs. Slater said that not our father. So the dead person belongs to Mr. Ben. So what is the relationship between these two people? He asked his wife also. So then there she says that his brother was dead. Okay, ma'am? Ben to Mrs. Slater, damned it, I never had one. Abel, dear, and what was his name? Ben. At a loss, he crossed in front of the table, and Mrs. Slater, right side of the table, prompting Frederick. Mrs. Jordan, left side of the table, prompting Albert. Ben, Fred or Isaac. Abel, Isaac. And where did your brother Isaac die? Ben, in Australia. Abel, rising. Well, I suppose you've only been waiting for me to begin tea. I am feeling hungry. Then Mrs. Slater, taking up the kettle, I'll make tea. Abel, come along now, sit you down and let's be jolly. Abel sits at the head of the table facing spectators. And see here in this paragraph, what was the idea of this paragraph here mean? So these people said that some of the Ben's relation was dead. That's why all the people wearing mourning dresses, including Victoria also. Then Abel Merriweather asked the relationship between the Ben and the dead person. Then here Mrs. Slater said that the dead person was the brother of Ben. When he heard the this type of explanation, answer give Mrs. Slater, Ben had become serious, and he said that Mrs. Slater, damn, I never had one. I never had one means here he didn't have any brother. Abel, dear, and what was his name? So, dear, don't get angry. So, tell me, Ben, what was your brother's name? Ben said, at a loss. He crosses the front of the table. I mean, actually, he didn't know. He didn't have any brothers. But suddenly, Amelia said that Ben's brother was died, and Abel Merriweather asked to Ben, what was the name of your brother? Then he searched in his mind, the name. Search her brother's name. Then Mrs. Slater, right side of the table, prompting her. She gave the name of the dead person. That is, say. Tell him to the name of the person is Frederick. But on the other side of the table, Mrs. Jordan said, Albert. So someone says like Frederick, and some other says that Albert. Here he was in a dilemma. Which name has he selected, or which name he has to choose? So that's why he had a little bit of confusion. And she said that Isaac. Then Abel says that, Isaac, where did your brother die? In which place he was died? Like that. Ben said, in Australia. If he had really a brother and he gave the right explanation or right answers to Mr. Abel Merriweather. So he didn't have any brothers, and he didn't have any relations to died in this particular situation. That's why he's showing a little bit of dilemma there. Abel, rising in chair. Well, I suppose you've only been waiting for me to begin tea. I am feeling hungry. So I think you're all waiting for me to take a tea. Okay? After taking tea, we go for the lunch. Why? Because I am feeling hungry. Then Mrs. Slater taking up the kettle. I'll make tea. She said that I'll prepare tea for all of you. And Abel says, come along now, sit down and let's be jolly. Abel sits on the head of the table and facing spectators. Who is the spectators here mean? The spectators is nothing but the members of the particular who was sitting in front of the Abel. And Abel says, suddenly he recollecting, hey, Amelia and Henry, what the devils did you mean by shifting my bureau out of my bedroom? Henry and Mrs. Slater are speechless. Do you hear me, Henry, Amelia? Why you are shifting my bureau in my room? So, why you are shifting my bureau? He asked Amelia and Henry. He point out why you are shifting, why you are taking my bureau. Mrs. Jordan, what bureau was that? What bureau was that, father? She Now here also she expressed her doubt. Able. Why? My bureau, the one I bought. So I am asking, my bureau, the one I bought. He asked Amelia and Henry. Okay. Next we come to the paragraphs. Take down some comprehension questions regarding these paragraphs. Okay, children, all of you note down the meanings on the explanation board and read the paragraph carefully and answer the questions. Now take down the comprehension. Where does Victoria sit? Where does Victoria sit? Why is Victoria so glad? The next question is, why is Victoria so glad? Who is the dead man mentioned here? Who is the dead man mentioned here? Why are all in mourning? Why are all in mourning? Whose brother is mentioned here? Whose brother is mentioned here? What happened to his brother? What happened to his brother? What's the matter? So these questions are related to this paragraph. You read the paragraph and write the answers of the following comprehension. Note down it carefully in your class works. Now take down the assignment here. Imagine you were able. Imagine you were able. You met your friend Tattersall. You met your friend Tattersall. You wanted to tell him why you are going to get married at this age. Now, write a possible conversation between you and your friend. That means mention the name of the mentioning person is Tattersall.